This video is done for the project of web development with no relational databases. Um, the goal of this project is to produce a website, a web application using Django to reduce the amount of frustrated job seekers and employers by making the process of applying and listing jobs an easier experience. I began the project by developing a design plan and listing the functionalities of the website. And in the end, I came up with the web pages needed and the elements in each page. If we look into the website, we can see that we have a login page, a registration page, and if you log in, you will see the home page, the job post page, which lists all the jobs, a page for adding a post, and you could see the details of each post, and if you have posted that post, you could see the applicants, and you can delete and edit the post. And if you go on to a job post that is posted by somebody else, you could see you can apply for it. Let's see, like here. If we go on and see and to the Django project, we can see that we have three main apps. We have the main, which is the main app, the login app, which is responsible for the registration and login, and we have the job post app, which is responsible for giving for everything that is related to the job posts. If we go on inside each one, we could see that there is a template folder which contains the HTML files related to that app. And if we go on before that, we could see at their level, at each app level, we have a common templates folder which contains the base.html file, which is used by all templates besides the login and registration. We also have the static folder, which contains the CSS file, which is used with Bootstrap to provide the styling and layout of each page. We also have a banner here as an image, the one displayed in the home page. And if we go on inside the main app and go to settings, we could see the settings of the app. We could see that for the installed apps, we have the three apps mentioned before, and we have Crispy Forms, which is used for installing the Django forms, and these are all default ones. If we go on to the templates, we could see that we gave it the path for the common templates where the base.html is there, and we gave the apps directories to true, so Django will search each app for templates. That is why including all three apps is important, because if, for example, we did not include main, we would not be able to access the home page. As for the database settings, we are using Django, which means we are connecting Django with MongoDB, and we are using object document modeling as our approach for saving the data from objects to documents in the MongoDB. We also gave it the name job listing and application, and when you run this project, it will automatically create this as the name of the database in your MongoDB, as you can see here. Here is my job listing and applications, and here are all the collections. And here we have The static settings, so the static URL and path. So the Django could find the static files needed, the CSS file and the image. If we go to the urls.py, which is used to route URLs to views. So for example, we have the admin here. For the admin page, it just uses admins.site.urls, and we have right here we are including the login URLs, which means it's going to include the urls.py, the Python file in the login template. Same for the job post, and here it's going to use the supply home function in the view inside the job post to provide details for this page. We were going to see this later. Alright, if we go on to the job post app, we could see that for the models, which is used for the ODM, object document modeling, we have the post as a class, and we have this as its fields. We have the title, posted by, description, responsibility, etc. As you can see, we have a foreign key for a user, so who posted this job post, and we have in the applicants a many-to-many field with users, so it could include many users. So if we go on to the MongoDB, we could see that it will create two documents, one for post and one for applicants, which is going to reference the post. It's going to use the referencing data model. So if we go on, and we should be able, yes, here it is. Here are the posts. We could see that here it's going to use referencing also for the user, and it's going to use the same for the applicants. Here it's using the same. Here's the post ID, here's the user ID. Alright, so from the posts we could create objects right here. We are using this we could use this in the Django shell, so you could save each object into MongoDB that way. And if we go to the forms, we are using forms in this website, as you can see. For the post here we're using the Django forms. Even if you're going to add, you're going to use it. So you need we have the title as a field. We have a description, responsibility, and qualifications. These are the fields that are required for the title and description are required, so you have to write something in them. Responsibility and qualifications, you do not have to. Alright, and here are the fields also. Now if you go on to the views, you could see the functions, all the functions used. So we have the views basically, if given the request, they will return a response. Mostly I use them for returning a page, rendering a page with various information, such as the post, as we can see here, all posts, which renders the job posts .html, job post.html with the posts. It gives it all the job posts, and it will make the job post the active. It will give information that the job post page is the active page currently, so we can update it in the navigation bar. So we order them by latest and return this page. If you go on to the supply home, which is the one used in the main.urls.py, it's going to provide all the needed details, the latest jobs, latest 4 jobs, and it's going to see if the user applied for any job, and it will return a boolean, and it will say that the active page is the home page. If we go on to the apply, it will just add the current user as an applicant and save that post. You also have to give it the ID when you call it, so that the function could know which post you're specifically wanting to apply to. If you go on to the new post uh, and post detail, post edits, they all use the forms. So here, if the request is get, so uh, the user just entered, they want to add a form, it will present a new form. Alright, else if it's post, if the user clicks submit, what will happen is it will check if the form is valid. If it is, it's going to save it, and it's going to the latest post, which is this one, the one just saved, and it's going to add the current user as the posted by and save the changes. Then it's going to redirect the user into job posts. Alright, and it's going to return this page. It's going to return this page and the form, which is this one. Over the details, if we go on to the details, for example, it's more of the same thing. It's going to check if the request is get. If it is, it's going to disable those fields, so because it's only showing the details for now. Else, if we go on to the post edit, if the user if the method is get, so he clicks edit, it's going to return the form, but it's not going to disable the fields, so the user could update the information, and it's going to render this page with this post and this form, etc. Else if it is post, meaning that the user clicks submit, it's going to save the form, it's going to save the changes, and it's going to disable those fields and return the render with the edited boolean, which checks if the user clicked edit and submit it or just clicked it. And if we go on to the delete, we could see that we are just getting the posts from the parameter. We're finding the posts wanted to be the post that is to be deleted. Then we're just going to delete it and return the response from the all posts, which is going to redirect you to this page. Alright, now if we go on to, for example, the add posts, we could see the forms, we could see the details here in the job post. I mean, yeah, here we could see where it is, yeah, the URLs. So we're going to use an URL, which is post detail, and give it the ID, because we need an ID to show the post detail. We need the ID, and we need to call the function and pass the ID as a parameter, right? So it's going to use the post detail. This name is specified in the URLs here, so post detail, the same name. Alright, and it's going to call it. That's how I call the functions from the templates. As you can see, I'm using the DTL language, Django template language, to provide various functions to extend and include various files, to use functions such as ifs and for loops and so on. If we go on to the login page, we could see that we do not have any model, we do not create any model, we actually just if we go on to views, as you can see, we load in our forms. you can see that we are importing the user model from the Django. So right here we're including it, and for the registration we're using we are creating a new form that inherits from the user creation form to add the email field. Alright, and that's about it. And on save, it's going to save the email as well. And if you go on to the views, you can see we have a register, we have login, and we have logout. For the register, if we go on here, for example, if alright, it's going to check. Um, it's going to check if the form is valid. If it's post, it's going to check if the form is valid, and it's going to log in the user and redirect him to the home page. Else, it's going to show an error message. Alright. Over on the login, we are using the Django's authentication form. So we are using it here. We are providing it. Alright, we're checking if the form is valid. We are authenticating through this. From here, we're importing it from the authentication from the Django. Yeah, if the user is authenticated, we log him in. If not, we show an error message. And for the logouts, the user we just type logout and send the request and redirect him to the login page, which is basically in the navigation. If we go on to the base, alright, here we're including a static, which is the CSS file. We are checking if the user is authenticated. If he is not, it's going to put him back to the login. That's what I meant. And if we go to the templates, we could see that we have a messages to show the error messages. So for example, if I typed the password wrong, it's going to show an error message. This is included in this messages.html is included in the login.html. It's just basically using a bootstrap to style it and provide the message. Alright, so now we could log in, and for the admin page, we could exit it, we could go to it right here. We need to be an authenticated user first, so login as the admin. As you can see, you could manage the users from here, delete or edit the information or add a new user. You could do the same thing for posts, and for that to appear, you have to go to the admins.py and register the model. Alright, if we go on to the job post urls.py, we could see all the functions here and their names and etc. I'll just now showcase the functionalities of the websites. Maybe I missed something, which then I will explain at that moment. So as we already talked and showcased the login, so let's create a new user, for example, and call it tests. Let's give it an email. Alright, let's give it a password. Let's just alright. So we are now logged in as tests, and you should be able to see him in the users, which is auth users. Here he is. As you can see in the MongoDB, the password is hashed, Alright, now here's the home page. Obviously he did not apply to any job yet. And here are the latest jobs. If we go on here and add a new post, it will show in the latest, so you can see here it is. You could go on here, edit the information, and you could apply for a job. Right, and you could search. Yeah, you could search. If you go on to job post, here we have a script that is searching for input, and it's going to see if the values here is the same from where it is to job here, from the information given in these, from the posted by, the title, and the date. So if I write, for example, test, only job post with test will appear. If I, for example, write Hassan, only his job post will appear.